Hi everyone, today I'll be talking about medical aid in dying, and I hope it's not the case, but some of us have had to watch a loved one become terminally ill and watch them be on their deathbed. And if you have done that, it is really hard to watch that and not be able to do anything for them. And that is why I choose that medical aid in dying should be legalized. And I'm going to be talking about the finances of why it should be legalized, the pain and suffering, the rights and freedom. So for finances, quoted in Medical Aid in Dying article, patients can end treatment on their own terms without incurring high expenses to be passed on to family, insurance companies, or the state. This indicates that when a family member passes away and they are in hospitals for a long-term time on hospice or on their deathbed because they need help because they cannot have treatment at home to make themselves feel better, and the hospitals are trying to make them comfortable before their last days. And it can be unnecessary because there is no treatment, they are just progressing to their death. And some people worry while they're on their deathbed about their family getting their debt after they pass away. So this could give people an option to stop the high expenses that go on to their family and give the family their debt and cause a relief of stress to the terminal ill patient. Pain and suffering, quoted in Medical Aid in Dying, because much of the suffering associated with terminal illnesses cannot be eased, advocates maintain that providing terminal ill patients with the means to end their lives enables them to avoid further physical, psychological, and emotional pain. Some terminal illnesses they come to a point where there is no more treatment, and it is very hard to make them comfortable. There is no medication that's going to help them. There is chemo for cancer patients stop working, so they get taken off, and they are simply just living miserable days, physical, psychological, and emotional, every single day, and there is no comfort to that. So somebody that is in pain physically, emotionally struggling because of the pain symptoms, and your mental being can also become miserable because you're in pain and you're stressed and you know there is no help for you. I think it should be legalized because of this reason, that there is nothing that doctors can do to ease any of those anymore. You are just miserable until your death. This is an image of a campaign in Connecticut, and I put it here because of the sign. It says, "I support death with dignity," and people should be able to end their lives with a confident attitude and knowing that they're doing the right thing for themselves instead of suffering and not being able to control their suffering. Rights and freedom. According to Lee, simply adding a healthcare choice in no way pressures people to exercise that choice. And I 100% agree with that, because just because the option is there does not mean that everybody needs to use it. It is optional, just like taking medication is optional, going to physical therapy is optional. So those are just some medical options that we have just for other things besides terminal ill, but any healthcare choice is optional, so it is a choice that is there, but people do not need to use it. According to Lee again, comfort and peace of mind come from obtaining or knowing that they could obtain medication to bring about a peaceful death. So the option of medical aid in dying being there for people when they feel that they've had enough of the suffering, because there is no ease to the pain, that brings them peace of mind, that there is an option, that there is a way out of their pain and suffering. Even if they don't use the option, it is in their back of their head that they can, if the pain becomes too much, that they have that option, and that gives them peace in mind and comfort knowing that the option is available. And everybody should have the right to have a peaceful death instead of prolonging the pain and suffering where it becomes a painful death. Quoted in Medical Aid in Dying, allowing an individual to decide when to end their life honors their rights and personal freedom. So, as an individual, we have rights and we are supposed to have freedom, and we should have that freedom to be able to end our life confidently again, and that should be our freedom and right to want to end our life peacefully because we are suffering, and not suffering because we say we're suffering, but suffering because we have somebody has a terminal illness that just cannot be treated, cannot be comforted. There's no medication that's going to help. There is no cure to it. They are just living in pain every single day. And that is their right and freedom to end that pain if they choose to. This is another image of the campaign. Again, I support Death with Dignity. And there are just other pictures in this campaign. Death with dignity, freedom from suffering. Freedom means the right to choose. We've always believed in self-determination. So these are just more quotes that go with why medical aid in dying is a freedom choice, that why it should be legalized, because it is all about freedom and dying knowing that this is your choice to end the pain instead of the pain taking you out. There are concerns with the medical aid in dying of why it's illegal in some places and why it's legal in some places. Quoted in Medical Aid in Dying, vulnerable, disabled, and aging patients may choose assisted suicide because they are depressed or see themselves as a burden when effective medications and palliative care might improve their condition. So the concerns are that people that don't have medically ill illnesses are going to take advantage of this option, meaning people that are simply depressed that can take depression medications and seek therapy, or people that are elderly and could have other reasons why they don't want to be here, like no support from family, or they feel like they're a burden to their family, or they're disabled, or someone in a wheelchair that can't walk but is totally okay. They're aware. And the response to that is from Hanning, and he quotes, "To qualify for an assisted death in states with these laws, they must already be on the verge of dying. That is, within 6 months of the end of their life." So this response is important because to qualify for the medical aid in dying, you must be on the verge of dying, and you must be within 6 months of the end of their life. So somebody that is simply just depressed, or just disabled, or just someone that just chooses they don't want to be here, that is not an option, because you must be on the verge of dying, and it must be within 6 months of the end of your life. I have put in a resource for what it means to legalize assisted death if anyone wants to check it out. And here is my works cited page, and I hope you guys enjoyed my speech.